Gold and Bitcoin will crash when the world finds a COVID vaccine that works. This is according to my guest today. He is Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he joins me now on my brand new show here at Stansberry Research. Robert, I am so happy to see you. Welcome.
It's a love affair, man. I get goosebumps talking to you. And I really thank you for the call because I loved working with you before. I'm looking forward to more of it again. So it's a very important time of life and year. And congratulations on twins.
Yes, I feel like I could do anything now, conquer anything, Robert. But thank you.
I'll pray for you tonight because that is a full-time job.
Thank you.
Holy moly.
All right, Robert, let's talk business now. Gold and Bitcoin, you say, could crash, but could present a huge buying opportunity should the world find a COVID vaccine that works. I want to talk about that because wouldn't we still be living in a world of fiat debasements, of zero interest rates that would still keep these safe havens high?
Yeah, I think the problem isn't the pandemic. The problem is our economic system. And as most of you guys know, on September 17th, 2019, there was a crash in the repo market of the shadow banking system. And then voila, COVID appears in December of 2019. So I was always a little suspicious of it. I'm not saying it's not real, but it was a little too convenient. So something's fishy. And that's kind of my suspicious mind saying there.
So let's go back to that point. So you were saying that should we find a vaccine, that gold and Bitcoin would get hit hard?
Well, I don't want to get hard, but happy days are here again because I hate to say this, but gold, silver, and Bitcoin are investments of disaster. If everything was perfect, you don't need gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So I've been collecting silver since I was in 1964 when I found out that silver tinge upon my little dimes and nickels and then dimes and quarters. And I started buying gold in 1972. My first coin was in 1972 was in Hong Kong. I bought a Kruger in. And the reason is I understood what happened when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. And so as you know, most of the pessimist gold guys like me just know you just can't keep printing money. And so this COVID thing is a little suspicious. Last night on Tucker Carlson, a female virologist came on and she had to escape from Wuhan. She says it's manufactured. My doctor says the same thing. So there's things about it that don't make sense. I'm not a doctor of virologist, but the people I know said there's something fishy about it.
So actually the CDC just coming out, a few minutes ago saying that by the third quarter of 2021, the US should have enough vaccine for people. Do you buy that?
I think they have to because the vaccines have to make a lot of money. That was in 1986, 1987 when all contingent liabilities for vaccine was removed. So they don't have to test them. Those vaccines can kill you, and the big pharma will never be sued, never. So it's big business, and that's what I suspect it could be also.
Robert, it's interesting to me. We spoke back in April, 2 days before I gave birth, actually, yeah. And you warned about social unrest hitting the U.S. And right. This was before we saw the riots unfold over the course of the summer. So you had foreseen that, and that's how it played out. How do you see things today? Does it get worse? Does it get any better? What are your thoughts today?
That's a tough question. The gap between rich and poor, as you know, is growing. And then when that PPP and all of the social programs giving people money, people are now would rather stay at home and get paid. I mean, who wouldn't? But and anyway, and people hate Trump a lot. I mean, I've never been political, but Trump is my friend. We wrote 2 books together. And we're both concerned about financial education. So the gap, the real problem is the gap that this coronavirus exposed is massive, massive. I wrote another book, it came out in January 2020, was Who Stole My Pension?
Yeah.
And many people know that Wall Street, the shadow banking system, the Treasury, and the Fed have been sucking cash out of pensions. So the old guys like me, we're in trouble. The boomers are in trouble. So a lot of the pensions are empty. So will there be social unrest? The old guys might be too old to protest, but their kids might if the parents move in with them.
When you see these protests, do you think they're right? You support that?
No, I don't support any of that. You know, we have, I've always been critical of education. There's no financial education in schools. That's why Trump and I got together. We're not politicians, but we're both capitalists, and we want to teach people who want to be capitalists about money. And my poor dad, who was a good guy, you know, school administrator, PhD from Stanford, Northwestern, and University of Chicago, they're hardcore socialists. And so I fought in Vietnam twice. I came back, I got spat on, eggs thrown at me and all this stuff. And I know a lot of those hippies became school teachers. So that's what they're teaching their kids. So I'm tenuous around education and school teachers because they have a tremendous influence on young people.
And just getting back to the point of economy, which you raised, Robert, that's so important is that, you know, as the economy keeps going up and up and up, the minimum wages remain the same. So, you know, how can we expect people to pay for rents for their cars?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but that CDC, they just said it's okay not to pay your rent. Now, when the hell? I own 7,000 apartments. You know, I mean,
you want your rent money.
Yeah. When does some medical association tell my tenants not to pay me? You know, I'm going, give me a break. This is called fascism. You know, I wrote a little tweet about Dr. Fauci. I call him a fascist, and I got nailed for that one.
well, you were saying how America is headed towards a Marxist society. Do you want to?
Well, Marxists believe that the capitalists don't contribute to anything. You know, I'm an investor. I have a lot of companies, and the people that work for me also think I don't do anything. But I provided the capital, we provide the structure, we take the risk, we do all that. But there's this guy, Richard Wolff. He's a Harvard, MIT, and Stanford guy. He's the most popular Marxist we have on YouTube today. And he's the guy that's saying that capitalists add nothing to a business, and it should all go to labor. So if there's $1 million profit, then the labor should take the money, not the shareholders and not the capitalists. So that's Marxism versus capitalism. I'm pretty hardcore capitalist. And there's a time and place for socialism. Do you know what I mean? There's people who really do need help, that people should be helped, but not to sit at home and get a paycheck.
Robert, you brought up President Trump, so let's stay on that topic for a second. Let's talk politics, because your good friend and my good friend too, Jim Rickards, tweeting earlier that in